Hello and welcome to If These Heels Could Talk. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, JoyGenea.
I'm JoyGenea with Solutions by JoyGenea.
And I'm Michelle with Bad Cat
That was
Digital.
the funniest hello, by the way. That is
Hi,
so
JoyGenea.
yeah, no, never. Don't do that. So not you. Not happening.
Well, I'm sheepish today because I didn't tell you the topic ahead of time.
So what? Throw it out there.
So we're doing another surprise topic. So here's
not like
and I really no, not a last minute topic like all our other topics. A surprise topic.
Okay.
At least last minute we talk about off camera first.
For 5 minutes.
For a couple of minutes.
Okay,
Yeah. 2 seconds and then we go on. So this is
true.
slightly different. But I want to talk today a little bit about downplaying accomplishments and why we downplay accomplishments. Do you feel like you downplay your accomplishments?
Yes and no.
Okay, tell me about that. It's a very therapy question. Tell me about that.
I know that like when I graduated from college, I was so ecstatic to have managed to do that.
Yes.
I did not downplay that. I'm like, how do I get up and like be the person
tell the
that
whole
talks
world
on the stage?
Yeah.
How do I make the newspaper? Like,
this is
do
huge.
I scream from a mountaintop that this has happened? But there have been other things in life that ever since.
What's the difference between them?
Well, the other one felt like I had achieved momentum, like I had
like
climbed
you
a
had
mountaintop.
you had
I'm
worked
like,
for
the
that.
entire world needs to know
You
that
had worked for that.
I did. I felt that way. The other things, sometimes the sheepishness will come out of not being concerned that the line, I believe this is partially my northern Minnesota upbringing, partially the religion that I was brought up in. There's an amount of guilt, gender. I think that would play in there, mix in there of, I don't want to make anybody feel bad.
So your accomplishment would make somebody else feel bad for not accomplishing something similar.
And so I'll just like not talk about it. Like people just don't need to know that.
Somebody else will bring it up.
Or it'll just never be talked about. Like I'll just eat it. Like no one will ever really be aware of certain things. And I'll just not. And all of a sudden, randomly, like years later, something. Maybe I'll put it on LinkedIn or something, and people will be like, "Oh my God, I had no idea." And I'm like, "Well, talk about it." Like it didn't.
It never came up.
No, like
because you never brought it up.
Right. I never made it accessible.
Got it.
Yep. And that's why I say yes and no. There are certain things that, oh my gosh, if I have climbed that mountain, you are going to hear about it. You're going to hear about it as I'm climbing the mountain, and you're going to hear about it when I accomplish it.
That's really interesting. That's really interesting. I had a lot this year. I accomplished some things. Honey,
you got some awards.
I got some awards.
She came home with hard work.
I won an award, and it was an award that's kind of hard to win around here.
Yeah.
I was on the cover of a regional business magazine.
Yeah.
I was kind of elected, chosen, whatever, to run a large group that I've been a part of for a very long time. I was, I had other stuff. So look,
there's honestly been quite a few.
It's been a really good year.
It's been a really
good year. Yes. I've been invited to and participated in and helped with some strategic planning for some large organizations and made some big moves in the community. It's been a really, really strong year. I would say it's been a really strong year.
A lot of the seeds you've planted
have started to kind of grow and have come to fruition, and it's been a really good year. And I was sitting with my therapist a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
And she said, I want you to take a minute and recognize the difference between these accomplishments that you're telling me about right now, and you're speaking about them with pride, and you're speaking about them without shyness, and you're not downplaying these accomplishments.
Yeah, you're owning them.
And 2 years ago, when I started working with her, and we were talking about things that were also really big, like growing the business really fast, or hiring people, or things that are also really big accomplishments, getting big new clients. I talked about them completely differently.
Yeah.
She said I talked about them very differently. I downplayed them. I would always say things like, well, I mean, things are good now, but when's the other shoe going to drop?
That's true.
So the reason I wanted to ask today is because I thought about that quite a bit after the therapy session.
That's good
so
therapy,
unfortunately, The therapy works very well because I think about it in between, which is just super frustrating.
That's good therapy.
Super frustrating.
No, it's not. It's good.
But when
that's how you build new neurology.
But like I'm thinking about that and thinking, I've done that most of my life.
Downplayed.
Whenever I've accomplished something, I have downplayed it, or I have assumed that something really negative will happen right afterwards.
Ooh.
Or I haven't felt free to talk about it with pride. And I wondered why.
What did you,
I still don't know why, because nobody ever said to me.
Who did you know that bragged? See, right there.
Bragged.
I used the word brag.
You bragged. There it is.
There it is. That's the word. That's the word if somebody spoke of their accomplishments.
I don't know. I don't know anybody. Like, I can't pinpoint a person in my life that I thought was a braggart, which is the word I would use.
Right. No, in my circle, like here's a great example. Obviously, my father, primary role model in my life, right? Mom, dad, both primary role models. I have found out about awards and accomplishments my father received. I had no clue. Like, I had no idea that he teamed up with Yale Research Department and created a hybrid type of rice that's used in other countries to help, right? Like, he was part of the research team that helped to lift that.
Okay, that's super cool.
It was super cool. But he tells me about this, like, like right near when he's dying, and like what to do and how to kind of put some of the pieces of, but it was like, you could have mentioned that.
Yeah, I would have been proud of you.
And like his military accomplishments. If somebody, I'm just going to say this, if somebody in your life has been in the military at some time, I highly recommend you sit down and ask them about the accolades on. Yeah.
What do the ribbons mean?
What do those ribbons mean?
Yeah.
It will astonish you.
Because they're not just pretty.
No, they
mean
they
things.
tell a story. They tell a really, so I had no idea that he was an extremely accomplished marksman. He had numerous marksman awards.
That's super cool.
I didn't know. I didn't know until we researched it for the painting. So talk about not bragging is the word we were kind of using, but talk about not talking about your accomplishments.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, where's that line, right? Like, I'm not going to walk into a room and be like, "Hey, everybody, guess what? You should treat me differently and better. I should not have to wait for a table because I won this award." Like, that's bragging. That's gross. That's entitlement and privilege and weird. And
that's a perfect example. Though, that's what prevents us from.
But I would never do that.
When was the last time you saw somebody do that? Okay.
I mean, I've seen it in movies.
Okay, but that's not real.
That's not real.
That's not real. So the point is, we've made up a story.
Yes.
This is a perfect example. We've made up a story from the people around us that said, and then we've seen
it's annoying that I'm being annoying by being proud of this. Right. Or at the very minimal, I'm being annoying by being proud of it. At the max, maybe people are going to feel bad because I'm proud of it. Right. Like, I'm going to make other people jealous, or I'm going to,
or maybe they'll get angry at me because I've got this thing and they don't have, they don't have this award. And I don't want to make somebody feel less than.
Right. And I don't want to make, because nobody is less than.
But that's not, here's the adult thing. That's not on us. How other people choose to take in information. I can't, the life lesson I've been slowly learning. I cannot control other people. It turns out. So
that's frustrating.
I can't control their beliefs. I can't control their stories. I can't control any of that.
I don't understand at what point this was something that was in my brain. Socially. This was something that was created, or was this something that I just kind of like built for myself?
I think it was a combination,
and just never took time to dismantle.
And now we are going to dismantle it.
And I've been taking time to, and I'm telling you, it's super cool.
Yes,
because it makes the accomplishment. Like, you allow yourself to feel it and be happy about it.
Well, how often, I was just thinking about, okay, so how do we shift a belief in a story?
Yeah.
And you start to reframe past circumstances. How would I say those things now? If somebody walked up and asked a certain thing, like, how would I incorporate that into my life?
Well,
and how could
my divorce was an accomplishment.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't feel like it at the moment, but my divorce was an accomplishment.
Yeah. And there's not a divorce celebration. I think
we should make one.
Oh, that'd be an easy ritual to have.
Yeah,
Like, that would be
divorcery.
great.
We could get a
Mhm.
divorce. We could jointly celebrate our
What
divorceries.
if the thought that occurs to me is, what if next time somebody asks, "How are you doing?" I am extremely excited, and I'm not bragging, but I can't help but share with you, I just won this award. I just received.
But we
this.
need to do it without saying, and I'm not bragging, but
I know. I heard it too, and I went, oh, that
yeah,
doesn't work.
that's my point. Like
Thanks for asking. I'm on a super high because
I've been working on this for a really
years.
long time, and I'm super excited that it's here.
Yes, okay, you're gifted. And so you got A's in school. Let's just go back to school.
Yeah.
You got A's,
in that school
F's.
sense of the
Yes.
school sense of
So
the word,
as we
yes,
were
because
sitting
you are
in the-
gifted as well.
I am, but it was not in getting A's on my
No.
on my
No.
I got things that got turned back very red with an F at the top, and you got things turned back that had no red and an A on it. I don't remember anybody running around being like, I got an A. Like, I don't.
Oh my gosh, you'd be. Here's the thing,
Did
though.
you down? That's where I think
You
you
would
learned
be.
to downplay
Oh,
it.
I used to.
You downplayed.
I'm
That's how you
gonna
learned.
say this out loud, and I'm gonna apologize to my parents in advance because I don't know if they know this, but I used to lie to my classmates,
Yeah,
and tell people that I was either disproportionately punished for not getting A's. Like I literally lied. I made up a story to excuse.
well, we just found the root of why you learned
to excuse my giftedness
Mm-hmm.
and my A's, because you're gifted in one really specific thing, which is being able to navigate school.
Yes.
That's not the same
educational
as being
system.
smarter. Please don't.
That is nicely put. I like
Please
that.
don't. It's not the same
It's a
thing.
system that you were designed.
It's a system that you were designed to succeed
achieve
at.
I
was
that.
designed to succeed at that system.
Yes.
And I was damn good at it.
Yeah.
And then when I left, it was like taking a cold shower every day, that the world wasn't like that system.
Yeah.
Right?
I know.
So
well, no, I don't know.
you don't know.
Training for that part over there.
But I used to lie about it.
Yeah, that's weird.
I made up this whole thing.
You don't lie. Like
I did.
That's when you downplay.
And I did it a lot.
That's
because
intense.
and so I think I internalized it. I think I started to believe it.
Yeah.
And it was, it's
a lie.
They were lies.
Lie, honey. It's just lie.
It was just a lie.
This is fabulous.
But it's a lie a seventh grader tells. It's a lie a fifth grader tells. It's a lie a third grader tells. I started doing it very young. Well, and I didn't stop until
but it was the
I was maybe a sophomore in high school.
You didn't want to make people feel bad. You didn't want, and you didn't want
I don't
to stand
think that
out.
I don't think that was it. It was I didn't want to stand out. It was because I was already
you didn't want to be
bullied
different.
for other things because
God.
I was the fat kid too.
Oh, sure.
And I was not a pleasant child. Like I was really kind of bossy and
you had leadership quality.
Yes, you could say it like that. Yeah. But also, it was annoying. I was competitive
and
I
understood the game.
Right.
Like I did not.
I liked it.
Yeah.
And I liked school.
Yeah.
And that was not a popular thing to like. And I think I wanted to fit in. I think it was because I wanted to fit into the group.
Yeah.
I don't think it was because I didn't want to make people feel bad. That's giving me a lot more compassion than I had at 7 years old or 8 years old. I mean, I appreciate it, but that's not what it was.
See, even at that age, I was working the room.
Yeah.
Like, I was feeling everybody's feelings and I don't want anybody to feel left out. And like, I was.
Yeah, no, I wasn't doing that. I think it was
adjusted for teachers even.
Yeah, no, mine was for the other kids. And it was a lie that I would tell that nobody believed. Like looking back on it, how people responded to it, nobody believed it. And the lie was more annoying than just like, if I had just said, I got an A, like
just own it.
Just been proud of it.
Here, let me make it simple. As the kid that was getting the F, it was not complicated as they would hand the sheet back from the front and it would have to go back. And I always got stuck in the front. I knew everybody's score behind me. I saw their sheet.
Oh, how crappy is that?
Like there was nothing on these and here's my deck. And if I looked at my sheet, like I would work hard.
Teachers didn't do that anymore when I was in
I worked hard to keep it flat and like curl the edges because
you didn't want people to see.
Well, it was red.
Yeah.
I mean, it's coated in red.
But here's the thing, JoyGenea. I worked hard for people to not see it too.
That's what I mean. It's really funny. We were on two opposite ends.
Yeah.
I can see where this is also played out for me. When right now I'm learning to play pickleball. When I do well, I celebrate everything.
Every little thing.
And I can tell that's inappropriate. Like I can tell it's like you don't like it, like I seem hyper competitive and like I'm aggressive. And what I'm noticing is it's just that I'm so not used to doing something successfully. And so I celebrate all the little like triumphs. And as I'm getting better at it, I'm like, no, we don't celebrate that. Like I'll be like, oh, that was okay. That was good. Like internally say this is good. But it's like you don't jump around like a little kid and be like, yeah, I nailed it.
Well,
people don't want to play with you then.
I think you should jump around. I mean, I don't understand why we can't have joy.
We can't, but I don't want the other side to be doing that every time because they're kicking my butt in reality. Like I'm learning.
I see.
I'm learning. And so I'm thrilled I get one, like when I would get a C, honestly, when I got a C, I would run around like the kid that got like the not hiding A kid. Like I was just like, oh my God, I got a C. And they, to them, it was like, you got a C. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, this is good in
That's
my
an
world.
accomplishment.
Right.
Yeah.
And I did the opposite of you, by the way. I had people snowballed that I was achieving better in school. By the time I got to like middle school and high school, like I was able to camouflage it a lot more. And I allowed people to cheat off my tests.
And then they failed.
Yep. It was great fun. It was great fun because I had test anxiety. So I'd tank on tests. And I remember one time the teacher left the room and like 5 people leaned over and they're like, so what do you got? And I'm like,
and you're asking me?
And I let them. They copied. And the teacher even pulled me aside. He was almost going to reprimand me after because he goes, everybody around you got scores similar to yours. And I'm like, I just smiled at him and I went, wasn't that fun? And he goes, it is, isn't it? And that was it. That was the whole, like, I could tell he was like, you allowed them to cheat. And I'm like, think hard.
He was like, you evil genius, you.
Yes. It was like, think hard about this.
How come you can't apply yourself like that to the test?
Right. It's like, oh.
Okay.
So we've learned where our downplaying kind of comes from.
I think so. And so this story that I'm telling myself that I need to somehow hide these things, that's changing. And I'm telling you, it's freaking awesome.
Why? How does it look?
Because I enjoy the accomplishment more. When people congratulate me, I get to say thank you.
I have noticed that you're able to say thank you. You're like, thanks. And then I ask, well,
and then we change the subject because it's not like it's a longer conversation than that. There's nothing else to say. But thanks. Yeah. And how are you doing?
Yeah.
But
the acknowledgement is okay.
And I'm not doing that thing where I'm like, oh, it's no big deal. Or well, I mean, come on, it's all political anyway. Coming up with some excuse for why I have the accomplishment.
People into accepting a compliment?
Yes.
Yes.
And it's super frustrating and super annoying.
It is.
And it's like just take it.
Like you'll be talking, oh my gosh, and I heard that you got this award.
Congratulations.
And they like their whole physical body shifts and they like cower and they're just like, it's not a big deal. And it's like, whoa, I'm pretty sure you were working at that, right? Like it's okay for me to say congratulations. Like you did this.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Like I wind up coaching them back into standing straight and like standing in this. I'm like, I'm okay with being humble. Humble is okay.
But humility
but it's different.
Is different than
downplaying.
I think it's kind of like the vague posting.
Ooh, expand on that.
So when people post things on Facebook or post things on social media like, oh, it was the worst day ever and no context for it, vague posting is what it's called.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows.
Yes.
Because they're trying to engage, like it's like the interpersonal version of clickbait.
Yeah.
They're trying to elicit some sort of response so that you'll ask. So because if you ask, then they get to tell the story without feeling bad that they're talking about themselves or without feeling like they're taking people's time or attention or right.
Yep. Yeah.
And so I'm starting to identify in myself that when I was downplaying my accomplishments, it was in part because I wanted people to have to work a little harder so that I could feel the accomplishment.
It was the passive aggressive approach
Yes.
to somebody, to just allowing somebody to say, way to go.
And
You
thank
did
you.
it.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
how are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, because it's not that straightforward. I mean, it's that simple.
It is.
And then the conversation is over. They've done their social duty. I've done my social duty.
Yeah.
And we're good to go. But if I'm like, well, I mean, it's all political anyway, and I can't believe so-and-so won it last year and blah, 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 blah. Now I've turned it into something that
it's kind of uncomfortable.
It's gross.
And it's like, where do I go with this? And
Right.
I was just trying to be.
So I was thinking about this.
engaged.
I was thinking about it. I wonder if it's kind of like when you pay with cash. Okay, so stick with me here,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
this is a very
Yeah.
drawn out metaphor.
Yeah.
So this interpersonal exchange of congratulations, thank you, and then
Yeah.
changing that interpersonal exchange to forcing the other person who's doing the congratulations to do all of the work in the conversation of the to extra congratulations, right? To do more
Yes.
work.
Yes.
It's kind of like going through a drive-through and having your bill be like $10.20 and paying with a $20 bill, because you're making the person do quite a bit of work to give you $9.80 back, because they have to count all of that out. It's a lot. That's more than you digging around for a quarter and giving them $20.25, and now they just have to give you 10 back. Right. But still,
it's easy.
But that's so much easier. And you've like lived up to your part of the transaction and not asked them through your actions or inactions to do extra work on your behalf.
And that's a joint win-win.
Right. It's a way of keeping
win-win.
the conversation clean, of keeping the transaction win-win, because
Win-win.
you're not giving a disproportionate amount of work
Yes.
to the other person, because it's a disproportionate amount of work
It
to
is,
count
and
$9 and lots of change.
And it's disproportionate when people have to dig a compliment to you.
Right. That's a disproportionate amount of work.
And it feels that there is a little bit of
a resentment to it.
I like humble, but you're right. There's that place where somebody can just acknowledge and give
It's
a
like,
little grin and be
it's
like,
not humility, it's the humble brag.
Yeah.
The way of bragging and trying to get people to talk about your accomplishment for longer, so by trying to downplay it yourself.
Whereas if you don't view talking about what's going on in your life,
yes,
openly, good, bad, accomplishment, wins, losses, if you're comfortable doing that,
wins, blows, buffaloes,
nobody has to drag anything out of anyone.
Right.
And it's their conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And it flows. It's just a natural,
it's just easier.
flowing.
Yeah. So I'm identifying that in myself, that I was asking in my discomfort and my unresolved shame from whatever.
Right.
I was asking people to do extra work in conversation to make me feel better.
And to add
and not and unfairly.
Yeah. And it's important for us to feel our successes. I would say in a time when I experience the world is moving very quickly and things move very fast in business, quite often business owners do not slow down to actually say, I succeeded. Like I set out with this goal and I've actually accomplished this thing.
We've talked about this before too. Like you have to find end zones for yourself, because it does not end.
And then you need to do your end zone dance.
Yes.
Like you need to celebrate.
Yes,
that.
because it literally doesn't end. And while you're doing the dance, somebody's going to come to you with another problem. So you might as well enjoy it while you've got it. Yeah. Enjoy it while you've got it. And that's what I'm finally allowing myself to do.
Well, and isn't that, I enjoy those conversations with people where they're like, wow, this week just hasn't been the best. And this has been going on. Oh man, I get that. Or, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if you heard.
It's been a great week. And this is
awesome.
super exciting.
I enjoy those engagements.
Yeah.
I don't off the top of my head know anybody that doesn't enjoy the authenticness of wins and losses and engagement. So why would we circumnavigate that? Why would we downplay that?
Right.
It's part of the conversation.
I think the balance that I'm finding is that I'm not introducing the subject, so I don't assume that what's important to me is important to the other person I'm in conversation with.
Nice.
If they congratulate me, great. We'll talk about it. They brought it up, but I'm not bringing it up in conversation because I'm not going to assume that either A, they know, or B, they care. And that's okay. They don't have to know or care. It's okay.
Yes.
And so, and I'm good with that. And by having that line, then I don't feel like I am bragging,
right?
Because I'm not introducing it. But I also can genuinely show gratitude for their congratulations and genuinely say, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for noticing.
So you don't
just like it would be if I got a new shoes.
So in short, you don't have to hide your A.
I don't have to hide the A.
And I don't need to run around and celebrate the one A. Like I can learn to down. No, I can learn to balance.
I don't need to hide
though.
the A.
I don't need to hide my F, and I don't need to hyper celebrate the A. I can just be their highs and lows.
Yeah.
Like and that's okay.
It's all good.
I like that.
I like it too. So this has been a surprise topic for JoyGenea. So thanks for hanging in there with me.
And thanks for creating with me.
About downplaying our accomplishments and why we do that, if we do that. So I hope that you've heard something in this that makes you think a little bit. And if you are my mother or my father listening to this, again, not assuming anything, I'm really sorry I lied about you throughout school because that was not cool. It was a coping mechanism, but it wasn't a good one. So I'm sure we'll talk about it at Thanksgiving. Thank you so much.